Welcome back, guys. Emo Tempest here, and today we're going to be covering the Opus XI water set. Same thing like the last one. These are going to be very short. Remember, I'm a little bit behind, so I'm catching up on all these cards and sets, and I promise the content's going to be coming out now. So thank you for stopping by and listening. And without further ado, we'll just get started. Starting off with a little different this time, using the summons and some of the rares here. So Frankfurt FFTA. It's the summon of the set. EX Burst, draw one card. If your opponent has received 5 points of damage or more, draw 2 cards instead. I put this on here because effectively this might turn our deck from 50 cards to 47. It feels very Upstart Goblin to me for those Yu-Gi-Oh! Who used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And so it's a lot cheaper too, right, than some of the backups that we mentioned like before, like Grandpa and I don't know, stuff like that are also EX Burst, draw 1 card. And then this one possibly lets us draw 2, so it's going to get better as the game goes. This is also going to help like speed up water a little more, which I don't think it needs, but I'm very fascinated by this card. And things like the water OTK one we have right now, and as well as the FFCC coming up that I think is going to have a lot of potential. Might use stuff like this just to draw faster. Especially since it has good ways of putting your opponent at 5 points of damage. So, you know, and I feel like people are pushing themselves to damage more faster. So this card is going to curve. I believe this card is going to curve into the meta. So for that reason, I put it in here. Theodore, just very strong card. I love the way how he resolves himself, right? So Dole, he's a 4-drop AK. Category 4, duel an active card named Cecil forward and an active card named Rosa forward. Play Theodore onto the field. You can only use this ability during your turn if Theodore's in the break zone, right? So like he's just pretty much vanilla, but you can find yourself pitching him as the game goes. You can pitch him to deploy the other cards, and then same turn tap them to bring him out early on. So he has a little bit of a swarm, like a little bit of that ability to help develop a board fast. So I just like that, and forward Cecils and forward Roses aren't hard to come by, so because we have so many now, which is interesting. So that's very useful. Unileska, Summoner, Mobius 8. The cost required to cast your summon is reduced by 1 for each job summoner forward you control. It cannot become 0. When Unileska enters the field, choose a summon in your break zone, place it at the bottom of your deck. So being able to just So I'm going to read this again. The cost required to cast your summon is reduced by 1 for each job summoner forward you control, including herself, right? So effectively, as soon as you drop her, your summons are already cheaper, which is great. She's going to be definitely going into a summoner deck, so we're going to be having multiple summoners on the board that it's going to help facilitate our summons and help play them faster, like everything. So you know, obviously they can't be 0, but in a water deck, this alone makes water summons -2 just off the bat. Like I can play other Frankfurts for 1. I can pretty much play all my freaking water summons for 1. Excuse me, that one almost slipped. But yeah, so very strong card. Very, very, very gonna be very useful. Next is Celeste, Garnet, and Realm. I put these here. Like I put Realm in the background because I just didn't like that we got 2 of this Amano art. Like I don't mind the Amano art. It's just I wanted something. It doesn't look so good to like for the background. But anyway, so having our first water Celeste. When Celeste attacks, select one of the following 3 actions. If you've received 3 points of damage or more, select up to 2. Celeste gains 2,000 power. Celeste gains when Celeste deals damage, your opponent draws a card until the end of the turn. Draw 1 card until the end of the turn. Choose 1 backup if you control, and 1 forward your opponent controls, return to their owner's hand. So 3/7 with cool stuff when she attacks is not as slow as some of the other, not as slow as her previous one, right? It's not when she's dealt damage, it's just when she attacks, so that's good. And then being able to search her with the 6 engine, so she's gonna her and Realm here both fit that like idea that we're gonna have a nice water or fire water or like another variant of 6, which I mentioned before, like in the box opening. And so both of these cards are very strong. Realm also search up to 1 monster of cost 2 and a monster of cost 1 and play them on the field. So she's effectively like 2 CP, right? Plus whatever value those cards generate, it's just gonna accumulate to more stuff. And at the end of your turn, choose a forward your opponent controls. If you control 5 or more monsters, return to its owner's hand. It's just a lot of strength there. She is pretty expensive for a 4K, but all in all, I think she's gonna be really good. And then when you cast a summon, Garnet, when you cast a summon, place a summon counter on Garnet, remove one summon counter from Garnet, choose a forward you control, it gains 2,000 power until the end of the turn. You can tap her, reveal one card, randomly reveal one card from your hand. If it is a summon, you may cast it without paying the cost. Easiest way to do that is to just have summons in your hand or just one card in your hand, and that way you don't miss. So also very strong. These cards are very, 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 very interesting. I'm going to have fun building them. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys have already seen some of these in play, and they're you guys can tell me your stories about them or any combos you have already. And I'm going to wrap these up with Mira, Braun, and Rosa. We already talked about Mira a little bit, and Mira is definitely gonna have a lot of potential. She finds that same thing. She's cheap, and she has a low enough health, so she's on curve for herself. And she has those two really good effects to search FFCC and make them forwards and stuff. Queen Braun here enters search for a job princess. And when a job king forward or job princess forward you control is put from the field into the break zone, you may pay 2 water. When you do so, choose a forward, return it to its owner's hand. So a lot of good effects here. I don't like that she's not EX burst, but I get it, right? Because the job princess forwards are pretty like important. So it's really search Garnet or Ash at the moment. I think those are your main ones, and so those are pretty good cards to search. So a lot of usefulness there. I like that we can keep the 9 kind of engine going too in like a 9 deck. So it just makes it easier to play with and stuff. Now, Rosa White Mage forward. EX burst when Rosa enters. If you control a card named Cecil, draw a card. It's fine. Discard 1 card, draw 1 card. You can only use this ability during your turn and only once per turn. I don't like these. I don't like these effects in this game because we're not unless we're fishing for stuff, right? Like this is gonna be fine later, but not right now. And then S teleport. You choose any number of characters you control, return them to their owner's hand. You can only use the ability once per turn. I'm glad it's only once per turn because being able to do this multiple times to create a possible like infinite loop to do like stuff like that is just outrageous. And so I'm glad it doesn't go into that. But this is a forward that goes with the Cecil that we were just talking about. And the water cards are very strong in this set. These are like my 9 favorite ones. Thanks for listening, guys. Stay tuned for more. I hope you enjoy them. And always remember, let me know what you guys are working on with these water cards. I'd love to hear it. Thanks.